Welcome to FIU Football Weekly. The Panthers coming off a thrilling 15-14 victory in Central Florida. And Coach Ron Turner, as usual, joined me throughout the season. Coach, welcome back. Congratulations.
Thank you, Pete. I appreciate it. It was a fun game. Great win.
The Panthers got down 14-3 at halftime. But, I didn't sense any panic in these guys. What did you tell them at the half? And then that led, you got the defensive shutout in the second half.
Well, I think these guys, first of all, have confidence. They're a mature team right now, have some confidence. And, at halftime, they were very calm, first of all. But I just told them that we've had bad field position the entire first half. And, we turned the ball over. They lead to a touchdown. We didn't get any takeaways, and we're only down, 14-3. So we're in good shape. Just keep playing, stay the course, and keep playing. And that's what we talked about going into the game. We just kept saying, stay the course, play our game, weather the storm. There's going to be some storms. Weather the storm. Just keep playing, and things will work out in our favor.
I think, and it's a cliche sometimes in football, but I think where the game really turned was the line of scrimmage. You guys won both the defensive line of scrimmage, the offensive line of scrimmage. Your defensive line got great push for the linebackers like Trayvon Williams to get career-high 11 tackles, and then the O-line really allowed the running game to flourish, which in turn I thought allowed Alex McGough to have probably his best game in an FIU uniform.
Yeah, he no question had his best game, and you're right. Everything starts up front, and we knew that was going to be a challenge because they're very good up front. They're very physical. They're very big, and we knew that coming in. They had a lot of guys back from last year's team, and offensively they had almost the entire line back, their tight ends back, their quarterback back, and their running back back. So we knew it was going to be a challenge to stop their run, but that's what we said going in. We got to stop the run, and we got to run the ball. They had 30 rushing attempts for 46 yards, so I think we 1.5 per carry. So I think we did a pretty good job of stopping the run. And offensive-wise, we had 3 guys that were potential starters for us in the offensive line out. So some young guys stepped in the running game, and we rushed for 136 yards and didn't give up any sacks. So I thought they played an outstanding game as well.
And, up in the press box, someone from Orlando that, obviously wouldn't follow FIU if they had UCF there, mentioned to me, boy, your quarterback, was he a fifth-year senior? And I said, no, he's just a sophomore. And, I think it's because of the way he played. There was a lot of poise in Alex McGough's play on Thursday. Talk a little bit about that, 76% completion percentage.
Yeah, and the good thing was he was decisive. He was very decisive. He knew when to pull it down and take off. He knew when to throw it, got rid of the ball quickly, and, again, very decisive in what he was doing. And that's a sign of maturity. And he's been a different guy all camp than he was last year. Last year he was just trying to memorize the playbook and go out and play. This year he came in to spring ball day one, as I said before the game. It's my team. I'm the guy. It's my team. Let's go. And he showed that kind of leadership, and he showed tremendous poise during the course of the game.
Well, let's look back at Thursday's game at some of the highlights, and Coach Turner, we'll go through them with you here. Here's Panthers opening their 14th season of football in Orlando against UCF, trying to even the series at 2. Alex McGough with a little screen here to Gardner, 27 yards. Good to have him back.
Yeah, it's great to have him back. He's a very good player, very explosive player, and we've worked extremely hard on our screen game. That's one thing in the offseason we looked at and said we got to get better at, so we worked hard on it, and it paid off early in the game.
Led to an Austin Taylor field goal. First points by any team in FBS this season was FIU's 3 right there.
And we'll take it. I wish it was 7, but we'll take 3. It was a great opening drive for our team.
And this, allowed UCF to take the lead here. Gardner's fumble led to pretty good field position for the Knights. And then 4 plays later, you'll see them punch it in, and they'll take the 7-3 lead.
Yeah, and, it's unfortunate we did that fumble, but I told Alex when he came off, hey, just keep running hard. You're running hard. You're running great. Just a little bit of ball security, and we'll be fine.
Knights added another touchdown here. Wakefield jumped off sides, but it didn't matter because of the open area in the middle of the field.
Yeah, we had a bust in the secondary. We're supposed to have a middle field safety, and he young safety, read the quarterback's eyes and got out of the middle and off the hash and opened up the middle.
That was Anthony Jones' 26-yard run on a pitch. Wow, he was impressive in just the 2 plays he had.
He is very impressive, and we got to find a way to get him in and get him involved because he's explosive. And that was a run. Alex on the sideline came up to me during this drive and said, "Put me in, Coach. I feel it. I said, "Okay, get in there," and we handed the ball and he scored.
And here's the poise we're talking about. McGough, play was breaking down. He kept it alive, finds Joakim Greiner, 47-yard strike.
Yeah, Alex did a great job of that all game. Throwing the ball in the pocket when he could, getting out, keeping his vision down the field, made a great play there to Greiner, who can run.
And then talk about a little fortuitous bounce here. Owens attempted the pass, and Greiner with the catch.
Well, we deserve to get that that bounce like that, because that was definitely pass interference that wasn't called. So we'll take it that way.
Denzel Pirine with a sack here to pin UCF back late in the game. The Knights eventually do get a first down, helped by a personal foul. They move upfield and get ready for that potential game-winning field goal.
Yeah, and, they moved it down, and our guys just, did a good job. They lined up to kick the field goal. It was going to be a 42-yarder. They jumped, and that's something that we've been doing a lot of defensively, moving right at the end, trying to get our offense to jump on it. We didn't do it. Moved it back 5 yards, made it a very difficult kick.
Then Michael Wright trying for the winner. You saw Joachim Greiner jump the highest, but it was Darian Dyson that got the big left paw up there.
It definitely was, and we got great penetration inside on that, and it was a 47-yarder, so they tend to be a little bit low on the kick.
And it helped, obviously, that they had the false start penalty, and then, what was it, lemon lime Gatorade that they threw on you there?
Little lime Gatorade, and you know what, it was cold, but it felt great.
I'm sure it did. And that celebration on the field after the blocked field goal, FIU 1-0 for the first time since 2011, and looking to make it 2-0 this coming Saturday at Indiana. And I think one thing we forgot to mention was the late game situations and how you guys, you tell me, I thought watching every practice this year in camp that you guys put more of an emphasis on these late game situations, maybe because of last year?
Yeah, we did. I think we always have in the past, but probably a little more competitive this year. In the past, we walked through drills and did stuff like that. We put them in competitive situations, and we did it all during the course of practice. Sometimes we did it right after stretch at the beginning of the practice. We'd put the ball down and say, hey, it's 4th and goal. Defense, you stop, you win. Offense, you score, you win. Or field goal situation. By end of the game, field goal situation. We got to get in, get a block, and we got to kick the field goal to win the game. So we put them in more competitive situations at any time during the course of practice, and I think it paid off.
Shortly, we'll take a break here on FIU Football Week. We'll come back to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers, who went into a Sun Belt-type offensive shootout last Saturday against Southern Illinois. Be back in a minute.
Hey FIU fans, hope you're enjoying the game.
Join Maddie and I each week along with Ron Thulin for the Conference USA Showcase, highlighting all teams in Conference USA as well as your Panthers.
That's right, a new show premieres each week, so check your local listings Wednesday through Saturday for all the latest news, highlights, and features surrounding all things Conference USA.
Welcome back to FIU Football Weekly. Trayvon Williams joins me now, and Trayvon with a career-high 11 tackles against UCF last Thursday. His previous high was 7 tackles against North Texas in the season finale last year, and we were talking during the break that Trayvon goes to the same church as you folks may remember, Antoine Barnes and Alexander Bostic, 2 of the 3 FIU Killer Bees from that 2006 vaunted FIU defense. Of course, Trayvon looking more like Keonvis Bowie last Thursday with those 11 tackles. Just talk to me, Trayvon, as far as the defensive plan going into UCF, what are you guys aiming to do?
Well, the first thing we emphasized was stopping the run. So every day in practice, we'll just make sure that the scout team doesn't get no running yards, that we run to the ball, swarm, and make sure they get no yardage. And as a defense as a whole, we met without our coaches a few times just to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
And I'm sure a big part of that was stopping the big running back for UCF, 230-pound Will Stanback. Was he one of the primary focuses on that defensive game plan?
Well, we spread it out evenly among the whole offense. We pay attention to everybody the same. Quarterback, offensive line, receivers, we respect everybody the same.
Now, as a linebacker, if your defensive line doesn't give you that push at the line of scrimmage, you guys' job becomes a lot harder. Yeah. But you got the D-line on Thursday got a heck of a push. How did that help you out?
Well, it helped me to play more freely, let me scrape over things more help me to scrape over things better, make more tackles, and you see the result.
There was a difference, I think, in the 2 halves last Thursday. They got 14 in the first half, and then the second half you guys threw a shutout. What did you guys do defensively different between the first half and the second half?
Well, going into halftime, we just sat down and spoke to each other and said that we had to execute better, that we can't have the mental mistakes that we had in the first half, and that we got to come out with more energy than we did in the first.
But were there any kind of adjustments in the locker room where, UCF really didn't do anything outside of that last desperation drive where they moved into, I guess, somewhat field goal range after the personal foul? They really didn't do anything.
Any adjustments that were made were most likely our own adjustments to help us do things better, to attack them in different ways.
Okay. Last year, you, as you recall, you guys lost 4 games by 3 points or less. A couple of those in the late stages of the game. Did those experiences from last year, did they help you out last Thursday, where you guys were able to close out the game and the 15-14 win?
Yes, they really did, because going into fall camp and workouts during the off season, we emphasized finishing a lot. Like, everything we did was finish. So I feel like that helped come through, roll over into this season.
That's Trayvon Williams. We'll take a short break and come back with Coach Ron Turner as he'll look ahead to the Indiana Hoosiers and this Saturday's game.
At Conference USA,
let's be the definition of a good sport.
conduct and attitude.
Considered as befitting
Participants in sports.
Especially fair play, courtesy, striving, spirit.
Conference USA
Has a history of good sportsmanship.
Enjoy the game.
and be our next good sport.
On and off the field.
Welcome back to FIU Football Weekly. The Panthers 1-0 and now headed to Indiana for the second time in FIU history. Actually, the first time was Indiana State, but we'll get to that later. Coach, the Hoosiers 48-47 winners against Southern Illinois on Saturday. A game, not too much defense, over 1,000 yards, almost 1,200 yards of total offense between the two teams. What have you seen from them early on?
Well, I see a good team. You know, I watched that game. It was on Saturday afternoon. Watched it on TV. Then obviously we've gotten the tape and been able to watch a lot of it. They had 9 guys suspended. You know, so defensively they had 6 guys out. 4 of them were key players. So I think that really had an effect on them. And then Southern Illinois did a great job, had a really good game plan, did a good job. But I see Indiana's a very good team, very physical team. They got 5 starters back on defense, and they're very physical up front. Big Ten team, you know, very big, physical up front. They can run, linebackers can run, athletic group. Offensively, they got 7 starters back, led by the quarterback, who's a tremendous player, big 6'6" guy who's got a strong arm and shows great composure. I mean, he's a very good player, and they can run the ball. They're an extremely balanced attack. People think I'm just throwing it, but they're a balanced attack with Jordan Howard back there running the ball. So they've got a very good team, and their entire offensive line, for the most part, is back, and they're big and physical and talented.
It's a spread type of offense, if I'm not mistaken, that the Hoosiers run, and something that you see a lot in Conference USA. I mean, you know, obviously everybody has their twist to the spread, but I mean, is that something that seems familiar to you guys with the Conference USA play?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they are a spread team, but again, they have great balance. They do a really good job of running the ball, probably more so than a lot of spread teams, and a little bit different style. They'll run the zone read and all that, but they'll also, you know, run some other schemes, some various schemes, gap schemes, and things like that. So they're, you know, they can do a little bit of everything. And Kevin Wilson, the head coach, offense coordinator at Oklahoma previously at one time, and wherever he's been, they've been good on offense, and they've been extremely balanced.
You guys got a taste of Jordan Howard last year when went up to Birmingham against UAB, ran for 102 yards, I believe. Another big physical back like you saw in Standback last week at UCF. Howard, 230 pounds, ran for 145 yards, 3 touchdowns on Saturday.
Yeah, he's a good player. You know, like you said, our guys know him. We went against him, and we had a tough time stopping him because he's a good player. And now he's doing it behind, you know, a really talented, big veteran offensive line. Not that they didn't have that at UAB, but they've got a Big Ten offensive line right now.
Coach, your keys to victory on Saturday, coming back 2-0.
Well, I think the big thing is we just got to go out and play our game. It always comes down to stopping the run and being able to run the football. And we got to do that. We got to protect the ball. We had 1 turnover last week. We got to protect the ball, can't turn it over, and we got to get some turnovers. We didn't get any defensively. Came close on some, but we didn't make the plays. We got to get some turnovers. But the biggest thing is just take care of our business, take care of us, and go out and execute and be as focused and prepared as we were last week.
When we come back on FIU Football Week, we'll have some fan questions for Coach Ron Turner and take a look back at some FIU football history. Back in a moment.
I'm going to engineer something to withstand hurricane force winds.
I'm going to run for Congress.
I'm going to start a company in China.
I'm going to do my graduate research inside the world's only underwater sea lab.
I'm going to dream it
Then do it.
And from here on out,
For the rest of my life.
I'm going to be a Panther.
A Panther.
An FIU Panther.
Take a moment to look back at some FIU football history. Panthers will be making their second trip ever to Indiana. First time FIU did that was in 2003, the season opener, a 13-10 loss to Indiana State. Unfortunately, they lost quarterback Jamie Burke that game to a knee tear, and Josh Padrick came in the following game and took over and eventually threw for 9,237 yards, which is the all-time FIU record. Welcome back to FIU Football Weekly, and now our weekly segment where you fans can ask Coach Ron Turner some questions via Twitter. We'll give you that address later on. Coach, first question, John from Kendall wants to know, Joachim Greiner seems underrated. Should we expect more big games from him?
John, absolutely. I mean, he's a good player, and he's really, he's really matured over the years, and physically he's like 6'4", 242, 243, can run, catch. He's really improved his blocking from this year compared to last year during the course of spring ball and training camp. So, yeah, we definitely, he's definitely in our plans. With he and Jonnu Smith, we're excited about the two tight ends that we have, and those two guys can be big play guys for us.
And really, if you think about it, Jonnu and Joachim are like two wide receivers playing tight end.
Yeah, they really are. And we didn't do much as far as flexing him out last week. Jonnu we did out in the slot, but we will also put him on the outside as a number one receiver and move him around. As the season progresses, we've got to find ways to get both those guys heavily involved in the offense.
Okay, next question, Lloyd from Hialeah. How much more can we expect Anthony Jones to play? He had a great debut.
Lloyd, I can answer that very quickly. A lot. A lot. We talk all the time. Let's find ways to get him on the field, and we're bringing him along. He's a freshman, still trying to learn. He's playing some running back. He's playing some receiver. So we've zeroed in on what he's going to do, and you can definitely see him on the we'll see him on the field.
And I know he has one game under his belt in college, but I think the comparisons are a little unfair to T.Y. Hilton. Yeah. He doesn't have the top end speed of T.Y., but certainly has the video game moves like we saw on the 15-yard catch.
Yeah, he's a very talented player, very good player. You saw that in his high school tape. We saw it fortunately, he was here this spring, so we saw it in spring ball. He's a very good player, and he's going to be a big part of our offense.
Mike from Pembroke Pines says, congratulations on the signature win. What went into working Alex Magoo out of the shotgun so much last Thursday?
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it, and it was a great win for us. And you know what? I don't think we did shotgun any more than we did last year with Alex. Maybe the percentage was a little bit higher, but that's something. Some games we'll do it more than others, but it's going to be a staple of what we do in a big part. But we still want to go out of the pistol. We still want to go under center and, mix up the things that we're doing and mix up our tempo. And a lot of it has to do with what tempo we're going. So you'll see him under center. You'll see him, in all the different places.
That's Coach Ron Turner. He'll be here every week for FIU Football Weekly, and we'll have different guests throughout the week. For our extraordinaire Hollywood producer-director Brian Duvall, this is Pete Pelegrin wishing you a good week, and talk to you after Indiana.
Blocked and no good. And FIU stays up 15-14 on UCF with 25 seconds left in the fourth. How about FIU? There's a Gatorade bath in the season opener.
And the kick is no good. 25 seconds.
We worked too hard for this, man. It's our time. Go.